What's cracking, y'all? James Hoffmann came by the other day to record a podcast, hang out, and just kind of kick the proverbial coffee ball around, if you know what I'm saying. James is a former world barista champion. He's the owner of Square Mile Coffee in London. He's the author of the World Atlas of Coffee, and he's just an all-around dude. He's been writing about the modern specialty coffee movement, commenting on the modern specialty coffee movement longer than pretty much anybody. He's also got a YouTube channel, which I'm assuming if you're here, you probably know about that, but he's going to be posting something today with his experience in Santa Cruz. So after you're done watching this, go check that out if you haven't already. I threw something out on Instagram asking you what you want me to ask him when he gets here. There were a lot of good questions. We couldn't get to all of them, but there were some recurring ones that we thought were interesting. So here's what we got.
Come on.
I've been entrusted with James's camera. This is a big responsibility. I'm probably gonna let him down. Oh yeah, those are stylish.
So these are fully embarrassing, actually. So these are totally custom, handmade. They even have like a little handmade for
oh wow, for
me.
J.A. Hoffmann.
Right. So they're one of the last glasses companies that are hand making glasses in the UK, and the guy, the founder, got in touch, and we worked out a set. And I chose a bunch of stuff, so it's all custom, how you do everything.
What I've got here is all of the questions that you wrote in on Instagram wanting to know, what's the deal? What can we probe him about? What can we pressure him on? How uncomfortable can we make him? Let's really just shake him up, you know what I mean? He deserves it.
Chris just sent me inside to ask for coffee in a make-out cup, and for a second I was like, am I being pranked? Like, so this is a make-out cup, and it's very beautiful.
Two things. One, there's a lot of questions. We're not gonna be able to answer all of them. I'm so sorry, there's a lot of repeating ones. Two, we just recorded a podcast and talked for pretty close to an hour and 45 minutes about some of this stuff. So if you're here and you don't see your question addressed, check the podcast. I'll put a link down to it and you can hear us ramble for forever. I don't like Face ID. I always have sunglasses on. It doesn't recognize me.
What? It doesn't with me.
I think it's glasses and hat, maybe.
Yes. It's messy. I don't really enjoy dialing in. I really don't enjoy cleaning a coffee machine. And I'm very happy to pay someone that small amount of money to do it for me. Like, espresso is great as a hobby, as a way to make coffee. It just takes a little bit too long for me, and I would rather just have some brewed coffee at home in the morning. Like, I want a mug full of goodness, not just a moment of coffee intensity.
Will we see enough growth in the number of people brewing specialty coffee at home to impact cafes?
No.
Are pour-overs dead?
No.
Do you have plans to do Square Mile overseas anywhere?
No. I keep saying no to these questions. No, like Square Mile sells a bit of stuff already overseas, but I don't think we want to open a business entity in another country.
Most commonly asked question, his beautiful hair. What do we use with his hair? How does his hair work?
How does my hair work? You push it in the direction you want it to go and you apply the product and it stays there.
What product? Just one little snippet.
Muck NUK as a brand. The hard muck is like a super thick, strong hold clay. I have yet to find a stronger hold product. If you know of one, please comment down below, because I'm always looking for, better product for the hair.
What's going to have more impact on the future of specialty coffee? The market or climate change?
That is difficult. In the short term, the market, and then in the long term, climate change, like both. But in the short term, yeah, I think the market growth and challenges there will be a bigger impact. But long term, yeah, for sure, climate change is a massive issue. We're already seeing challenges, and it's only going to get worse.
The company I work for isn't interested in being a part of the SCA, Specialty Coffee Association, for those that don't know. Am I missing out?
Yeah, a little bit, but I don't think you have to have your company be a member for you to be a member. That community is available if you want to participate. I think you can sign up as just like a barista member if you want to. It's really nice to be with like-minded people, so I would recommend that. If that's something you want to do, if you want to develop your career, if you want to meet people with different viewpoints, different ideas, yeah, for sure, I would consider getting involved and trying to participate in an event. But go to participate. Do not go to be passive. go to be active, go to give and receive, right? Like it has to go both ways. You can't just go and expect people to teach you stuff, educate you, make you better. You have to come and be active in that community to get something out of it.
What is the number one thing that you get out of the SCA? Is it that sense of community or just connection? Or let me rephrase it. How can someone take initiative and be active if they're not already a part of the community, or maybe they feel like they don't know a lot?
There's a broad mindset challenge around stuff like education, which is you can either be someone who expects to receive education as part of your career, as part of your job, or whatever else, that it is something that is given to you as some sort of reward, or you would see it as an opportunity to be taken, right? It's really a mindset about I can learn a ton if I choose to, but if I sit back and wait for it to happen, it's not going to happen, right? So if you go to one of these things and just expect to hear interesting ideas and just be told interesting stuff, no, you have to go and talk to people, interact with people, give your time and energies to do so. Stuff like volunteering is great because it gives you an opportunity to give your time, but also then interact with the community as someone who is giving to that community. And people are much more responsive. If you're talking to a volunteer at an event, I have much more time for that person because I know that they're giving towards that community. So it isn't about having to contribute knowledge or anything else. It's really about a mindset of I want to go and take this opportunity. I don't want to be given an opportunity, I want to take it.
What's up, Liz?
Next to you,
Dude,
making sure that
making sure they don't run you over. I think they're good. We got you. It's dangerous out here.
Exactly, they could be on opioids.
Here's the deal. We're gonna do 3 more because I'm having a good conversation in real life. So I'm gonna be selfish and take most of that and give you a little bit.
How do you define good at roasting? Okay, so roasting, I would argue, there's 2 different types of roasting. There's the thing that everyone thinks is roasting, which is development, which is profile creation, which is dialing in, that kind of thing, which is actually quite a small part of a coffee roaster's job. And then there's the truth of coffee roasting, which is that it's food manufacture. Right? It's about doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And then again, the same thing the next day and the next day and the next day. And that requires a very different mindset, right? So I think that we've sort of said that roasting is all the fun stuff. Roasting is like trying new things and playing with the rate of rise curve and cupping and all of that kind of stuff. And that's just a small piece of what makes a great roaster a great roaster. So to be good, to be able to operate a machine and understand the basics of what's happening, that shouldn't take a very long time, right? Like a coffee roaster as a thing is not very difficult, and to be able to follow a profile effectively, again, shouldn't really take that long. What takes a longer time is development of palate and skills and being able to tie back what you taste to what happened in the roast. And by and large, we're still not very good at that as an industry, actually, but there's some key mistakes that we can taste very obviously. To do development work, that's really actually driven by ability to taste, an ability to be methodical and patient, and actually not have an ego. And those aren't necessarily skills you have, because to be a great roaster, you need to stand in a room full of people that you respect and have them tell you what you did that was bad. And that sucks. And I have nothing but respect for roasters who are able to stand there and do that and have a room full of people be like, this is underdeveloped. You made a mistake. With every intention in the world to do a good job, you still made a mistake, and we can all taste that mistake, right? That is hard, and we don't talk about that as a requirement for being a good roaster. And I have nothing but respect for the roasters that work at Square Mile for their ability to do that and to still be proud, rightly, of the work that they've done, take that information and improve every day. Some of that isn't a skill you learn, that's a mindset, and so that's a difficult question to answer. Lots of it we keep secret for no real reason at all. Like roast curves tell you so little outside of what that one roaster in that one room on that one day did. You can't take someone's roast curve and apply it to your roaster because your roaster is different. There's some potential exceptions coming in the future where you have identical potential environments, and that's really interesting. But in the short term, how my roast acts is, like it's irrelevant. Right, so that kind of transparency, we've chosen to keep funny things secret. I think that the fear is, with the deeper level of transparency, is that there's not a lot of context around what those numbers mean. So if you just put those numbers into the world, let's say your percentage of profit that you make, or the price that you pay for coffee, or whether that's a farm gate price, or whether that's a landed price, and who you're paying to what and who, like what does that number mean? I think to be transparent is one thing, but to spend the time and energy explaining the consequence of that transparent information is a kind of missing piece of the puzzle. Because frankly, how much profit am I supposed to make? Who will tell me that? Who will tell me that I'm supposed to make 10% net, I'm supposed to make 15% net, I'm supposed to make 5%? No one will give you a benchmark, and so if you put your numbers out there, am I greedy? Am I failing? Who will tell me that, right? So I'm pro-transparency. By and large, if people ask me about business, I'm happy to give numbers and talk about the hows and whys. But in terms of broadcasting it into a wider audience, I've always been hesitant because I feel like giving the context requires an interest in the esoteric aspects of business that most people don't necessarily have. And we're back to this world where people are like, coffee, $3, but it costs 20 cents for the coffee in that cup. They're making so much money, it's ridiculous. And you're like, no. But now I have to explain the financial model of a cafe to you, and that's not something you're desperately interested in hearing. So, did I answer that? I mean, both? Don't make me choose, because they're not the same thing. Our pies are a savory, delicious, wonderful thing. You don't really do the savory pie the same way, but we do not do the sweet pie, the sweet, delicious cherry pie or pumpkin pie. No, pumpkin pie. But the apple pies, it's a good pie. An American apple pie is a fine pie. But I'm a savory guy at heart, I think, deep down. So I'm gonna stick with my national pie. Feels weird. Who are your top 3 favorite channels on YouTube? I can't deal with it, and I don't judge people who do it. I see people do it around me. That happens, you know. Now that you stopped recording, I can tell you something. So at some point we have to agree, an order of who gets to shoot when.